Hi, I'm Chris Fredrickson. I'm one of the co-founders at Traverse City Whiskey. We've just opened up a new tasting room here in Ferndale that we're calling the Outpost. When you have a minute, please stop by, grab a cocktail or a bottle, and as always, be a responsible citizen. Continue following Nick Drinks.
Nick Drinks.
Hey everyone, this is Nick Britsky with Nick Drinks. We are here in Ferndale, Michigan, checking out the new Traverse City Whiskey space right next to Como's. We are here with Chris Fredrickson, who is a co-founder. He's going to be talking about the launch and talking about this new great space in Ferndale. Hey Chris, welcome.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're one of our first guests. We finished construction about 5 minutes ago, and we're patiently waiting to open our doors. This is Traverse City Whiskey's first satellite tasting room. We have our Stillhouse up in Traverse City at 14th and Cass, and now we've decided to migrate south to 9 Mile and Woodward. We're opening the tasting room, which will feature all of our products, including a few Stillhouse specials that are only available at our Stillhouse in Traverse City, and now what we're calling the Outpost in Ferndale.
So not only can you purchase products at the distillery here, but you also have distribution across the state, right?
We actually have distribution across the country.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
And I hear there's congratulations also in order. You were a double gold medalist at the San Francisco Spirits Competition.
Yes. Double gold and best in category for small batch bourbon between 6 and 10 years.
Congratulations on that. So I want to talk a little bit more about this, but first off, why don't you briefly walk through the range of spirits that you can find, anywhere, and then the specialty ones that'll be available here.
Of course. A majority of our portfolio is bourbon based. It's the same bourbon mash bill with different finishes. Across half of the country, which is about 26 states, we distribute our bourbon and our cherry whiskey. Our cherry whiskey is now our best-selling and fastest-growing expression. We also distribute our rye whiskey, our barrel-proof bourbon, and barrel-proof rye. Two of our newest expressions to market are our port barrel finish, which is originally was bottled at 86 proof and aged for 6 months. We then pushed pause, waited an extra year and a half, so it hit the 2-year marker, and probably 2 months ago launched our barrel-proof port barrel finish. It's our newest expression to market, and it is sold exclusively here. Well, it will be sold exclusively here and up in Traverse City.
That sounds tasty. So being 2 years aged, can you call that straight?
2 years age is the qualifier for straight. Yep. And when you see straight in the name, that is our way of saying that our product has been aged for at a minimum of 2 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, all right. So talk about this guy as the winner. What should we be tasting in this? And here, let's give a sip. So,
cheers.
Cheers. So great toasted notes, some baking spices. You can definitely taste the oak, but it's not overpowering. Just a teeny tiny touch of sweetness, but more from the corn from anything. What do you kind of taste, or what are you going for when you make this?
We're really chasing the subtle vanilla aftertaste, really chasing the caramel, and rounding out with a more buttery but approachable finish. Now, this bottle is 116 proof.
So now, you don't know that off the top of your head. Are they different per batch?
They are. Every bottle is different per batch, and we usually, with the barrel-proof bourbon, we usually blend between 3 and 5 barrels per batch.
So typically, when you're trying to make money on spirits, you would do it at 40%, because that's the minimum. That is, what people think is normal. So by going 18% above that, you're basically going to make, I don't know if the math works out, 18% less product, probably an exponent of that. But why did you choose to go that high?
Well, this expression, our barrel-proof bourbon, is the bourbon directly out of the barrel. So our entry proof for the bourbon is right around 120 to 125, depending on the barrel. And one thing that we're constantly highlighting about Michigan and Traverse City specifically, what's different than Kentucky, is our northern climate. It gets much colder, meaning we lose alcohol before we lose water. So again, the two components in the barrel, alcohol and water. Down south, you lose water first, meaning your proof goes up. So we can't achieve a proof higher than, I think 118, 120 is the highest I've seen. past that as low as 105. So we end up losing a significant amount of alcohol. What's in the bottle here is straight out of the barrel, through a filter, no water added, and the purest, richest version of the whiskey.
So kind of as the barrel, so rick houses are not climate controlled, they're for the most part. And you're saying basically kind of that heating and cooling happens more heating in Kentucky, more cooling in the U.S. or in Michigan. So that's interesting that the water goes out kind of in cool and the alcohol goes out in warm. No, the other way around. Yeah.
And it's a blessing and a curse, but it's one thing that we can really emphasize with our northern climate. It's what makes Michigan whiskey special. You're going to get lower proof, you're going to get a higher yield, but you're also going to get a more robust, flavorful product because you're having more expansion and contraction with the cold and the warm.
So talk a little bit about ingredients. Obviously, Michigan water is huge and very fundamental. What other ingredients are you getting to source some of these products?
Yeah, in terms of recipe and mash bill? Yeah, so our biggest focus has been corn forward. So the mash bill of our bourbon, 75 corn, 21 rye, and 4% malted barley. 100% of our grain is sourced in the Midwest. And besides just the bourbon here, the only other expression that we have on the market that's a different recipe is our rye whiskey, which is, we have two. We have 100% rye and a 95% rye, 5% malted barley. Okay. Yeah.
And cherries are obviously Michigan cherries?
From my family's cherry farm.
That's great. And if you think about that as the fastest growing expression, Michigan is so well known for cherries, that only makes sense. What kind of led you to make a cherry product?
Two things. One, Traverse City being the cherry capital of the world. And two, my father is a third-generation cherry farmer. So our family's been farming for almost 50 years. And kind of that family tie and vertical integration, but also married with the fact that Traverse City is known for cherries. When we launched the cherry whiskey back in 2013, the market wasn't ready for it. And since then, whiskey's become cool. And there's been a lot of people trying to transition to whiskey, but they don't really know it. And so we found that the cherry whiskey is actually a fantastic, what we call like a gateway expression. And it allows people who don't know whiskey that well to drink a nice whiskey without feeling intimidated by say, the barrel proof.
So all of your products are grain-based. Have you looked at expanding into, rum, vodka, anything like that? Or can you even make a cherry, a cherry distillate?
Like a cherry brandy?
Yeah, a brandy, yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about it. Okay. It's in the R&D queue right now. We've been so focused on our mainstay, which is whiskey, that the only fun side project that our master distiller, Curtis Drillinger, has toyed with is what we're calling a northern style gin. So it's a wood forward gin rested in our used bourbon barrels for about a month.
When you're finished with those bourbon barrels, there's huge demand for breweries or wineries even to some extent. What have you been doing with those barrels?
Yeah, 99% of our barrels have been sold to local Michigan breweries. The other 1% are used decor for the tasting room and some fun furniture projects that we work on in the downtime. So
let's talk about this space. So you're, it's just wrapping up. You have these beautiful woods and darks and steel. You have this chandelier up here that's made from stabs. Kind of talk about the vision for the space.
Yeah. So the vision for the Outpost here in Ferndale was, we wanted to breathe the DNA of our Stillhouse in Traverse City. But we also wanted to recognize that we're not the startup we were 7 years ago. My business partner, Moti, and I hand-built most of the Stillhouse up in Traverse City, and it shows. We're not builders by trade, so it's a little rough around the edges. But the Outpost here it's a little more polished, and but it still speaks to the core brand of Traverse City whiskey. A lot of people look at Traverse City as a retreat. We're trying to emphasize the same feeling with the vibe here at the Outpost.
And behind us, we see a great selection of merch. What'll be available here for people to purchase in addition to whiskey?
In addition to whiskey, we're looking at all of the swag, including T-shirts, hats. We do a barrel-aged maple syrup, our premium cocktail cherries, which are very hot right now, and some fun, again, like R&D furniture, wood projects that we're using our recycled bourbon barrels to create.
Are you planning on doing cocktails here or just straight pours?
Yeah, we'll do straight pours samples, and then we'll have both a classic cocktail menu along with some fun specialty whiskey cocktails.
So Michigan's rules are kind of interesting when it comes to kind of that branded cocktail bar. What other spirits are you mixing with, or is it just your spirits?
100% of the spirits that we're mixing with are made in-house. Yep.
Okay. Talk about some of the cocktails that'll be on the menu, at least to launch.
Yeah. Our classic cocktails revolve around the Manhattan, old-fashioned. Our most popular cocktail at the Stillhouse in Traverse City, which is our cherry sour. We call it our gateway cocktail. If you like wine and beer, but you don't want to try whiskey, come on in. Try a cherry sour. We also have a few specialty cocktails that we've been toying with and experimenting with up north. But I guess you'll have to come in to check out what we've got cooking.
Tell people how they can find out more information about you guys.
For more information on Traverse City Whiskey, check out our website, tcwhiskey.com. We have a big social media presence where we'll use that as kind of a news outlet between Instagram at tcwhiskey and also facebook.com/tcwhiskey. Any of these spots or locations are an easy point of access for information on TC Whiskey.
So for some reason this isn't sold in your favorite liquor store, what are people's options?
Yeah. First of all, check out the website. We have a whiskey finder. There's a button that says Whiskey Finder. You can also go to your local liquor shop and ask for a custom order. Most liquor store owners are happy to help. So if you are looking for a bottle that you know is distributed in your state, but you don't see it on the shelf, maybe you can wait a few days and they can order it for you. Yeah.
All right. Chris, thank you so much. Thank you. This has been Nick. You've been watching Nick Drinks. If you would like to see more of us, you can find us at nickdrinks.com. You can see us on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/nickdrinks, as well as our social media, which is both Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, nickdrinks.com.